And welcome to the In-Game Boss Podcast. I am your host, Jeremy, a.k.a. your retro activist, a.k.a. your in-game boss, a.k.a. your retro influencer. And with me on the other side of the screen, my second player in command, Tran.
A.k.a. the Evil of Aku, a.k.a. the Grumpy Bear, a.k.a. the pretentious pontificating buffoon. Yes.
And we have a special guest on the show, a guest that has been not only a longtime friend, but also does a show on this network called When Jeremy Met Nam Movie Discussions, where we talk about movies, and we're kind of all over the place, still trying to find our identity, and we're going to find it someday. But Mr. Nam Tran, welcome back, sir.
Welcome. Enter player number 3. And if you guys don't know, that's an arcade reference. That tells you how old we are.
Oh, yeah, let's get ready for some 3-player Battletoads.
Exactly.
And also, if people don't know, Mr. Nam Tran is also my my consultant. He is the one going behind the scenes telling me what do I need to do better and what do I need to be looking at based on views and all this stuff. But I want to say shout out to everybody for all great views. Thank you so much. I mean, we've been getting a lot of views lately, and I'm glad that it's been working out so far, and we're hoping to go. And we hit 200 subscribers. I'm proud of that. That's pretty awesome. You know, we're getting up there, so I want to thank everybody for just watching the videos for us. I'm really digging the micro videos. They're working well with me, and it works well with the editing. But we're gonna see what goes on beyond that, and on top of that. We have a new segment coming in from our movie podcast. It is called The Director's Chair, and where Nam and I are picking directors that we want to see do movies that we enjoy. And we're going to take you first into a galaxy far, far away that is the Star Wars, as we give you kind of like a 6-part, mini-series of directors that we pick that we want to see do Star Wars and what kind of movies that we want to see for them. So by the time you hear this, I'm pretty sure Christopher Nolan is out, and you will see what Nam thought about his vision for Christopher Nolan doing a Star Wars movie. So, Jerron, you are, and I said Jerron, didn't I? I didn't say Nam. I apologize. So, Jerron, are you a Star Wars fan?
I'm not a fan because fan comes from fanatic, and fanatics are nuts. But I do enjoy me some Star Wars lore, Star Wars literature, Star Wars media. So
okay. And Nam being
he's saying he's more of a
enthusiast,
admirer of the show of Star Wars than we are.
I'm an enthusiast, but I'm not going to be able to name every single alien and all the other stuff.
Oh, welcome to the club. Okay. Welcome to the club. But Nam, just kind of give people a little hint of Christopher Nolan, who you chose for the first episode. Anything you want to say to them, the kind of what they're looking for? What they're into, what they're going to be in for when they watch it?
Yeah, most definitely. This is how you sell a podcast. Just tune in and find out.
Tune in for your chance to win $50.
Yeah, so enjoy it. Leave a comment down below. And tell us your thoughts. Shout out to Jerome. Thank you so much for being supportive and leaving comments too. Almost everything we have done. And shout out to Devin Cook. I am a guest on one of his shows to keep Koopa Keep. So look out for my episode that I am with him in, and check out the show. It's really good. So with that, we got a PSA announcement we got to talk about. Now, for people that don't know, we had our very first PSA announcement, or I'm going to call it PVA, public video announcement, as Jerron mentioned that Golden Axe should make a return. Not so much a return, so much of bring the game that everybody wants and stop playing. Okay? Yeah. Give us a collection. Give us, Death Adder. And give it done singly and not be behind an arcade cabinet. That's his
$700 arcade cabinet.
Yes, $600. So, yeah. As we see Marvel vs. Capcom 2 coming in, who wants to pay that much to get the game they love so much? Well, you will find out when we find out what those numbers are. But we have another one. And this one has been taking up air in my mind for a little bit, and the fact that this has been going on for quite a while with a certain license, you would say. And so let's talk about sports. Since the dawn of video games, sports has been a major factor in video games. You have your platformers, you have your RPGs, you have your shooters, but sports games are probably up there as one of the top popular things. Everybody loves sports. Everybody likes sports games. Your basketball, your baseball, your football, your soccer, all of that stuff. And you can go from the NES Double Dribble to Joe Montana football, along with Tecmo football. You even go crazy as the sci-fi baseball games to the crazy, just different settings of them. But through the years, we always seen the sports games get more evolved, better in graphics, better in gameplay, better in the quality of life, better on the content. But that has now changed a little bit after the 2000s, right? Because there's one sports category in this whole thing that had the weirdest path going into the 2000s. Now, at the time before that, the big mamma jammas of the 90s or the old console or the golden age was your NBA Live, your John Madden, and basically whatever baseball game was in the moment. I couldn't tell you. Every baseball game was different, right? You had the King Griffey, but King Griffey didn't go that far. You had Barry Bonds. I think Barry Bonds had a game. Either way.
Probably.
Yeah.
Frank Hurt.
But there's never been a franchise with a known name when it came to baseball. And even golf at that time. Golf was just golf before Tiger Woods came later.
Yeah. It didn't have a face, a person put to it.
Exactly. But the interesting part about this is the fact that probably the most popular game in the sports is probably John Madden. It is the longest franchise out of all of them. Sure, NBA Live was probably a close second, if you want to argue that, but it slowly dropped off maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, give or take, due to another franchise known as the 2K later on.
Yep.
But here's the weird part about it. Madden's been around since the early 90s into now, and it has such an interesting roadmap going into this. As the king of football games. No, anyone that came out of a football game, you were cool, but chances are you're not going to sell as well as Madden. You might get known, but you were never going to be sold so much as Madden was. Madden was a household name. The whole EA Sports is in the game. I mean, like, that was definitely dedicated to Madden to me. And the interesting part about this is Madden was for everybody. It was for Nintendo, it was for PlayStation, and it was for Sega to a certain point. In 1999, EA decided to not make one football game for the Dreamcast. It was done. Like, nope, we're not doing anything. And this is during the time where Sega Dreamcast was kind of stranded. No one wanted to work with them. Because I told you before, Jerron, that Square Enix had never published a game on Sega. Nothing. That's insane. And now EA cuts them off. So what does Sega do? Well, we're gonna step our game up, because remember, Sega Sports was around for quite a while. It just wasn't big. You had your Sega. There was Sega football. There was Sega basketball. There was Sega hockey. They exist, but they weren't big yet until 2K came for the Dreamcast, and from there, it just blew everybody's mind. I mean, at the time, Allen Iverson was looking like Allen Iverson. Not anymore. Not anymore now. But at the time, our mind was like, that's Allen Iverson. And they changed the game, especially with the controller that the Dreamcast had that worked with it, and the graphics and everything. Just a new thing, okay? And that was just the basketball. Then was the football with Randy Moss on the cover. That's when it got crazy. And that game, I would say, I don't know which one was better. I'll let you guys tell me later which one was better. But I would argue that probably 2K basketball was outselling the football, but the football was not the be messed with. And don't forget baseball 2K and hockey 2K also came too. So here's Sega bringing this 2K thing. And then, of course, the Dreamcast did not do well, and it flopped. So what happens? Well, 2K became its own thing. 2K this, 2K that. And it goes through all of this until around 2004, I want to say, where Madden, I would argue, was feeling threatened because the fact that 2K was coming for them. And people were going for 2K. One, because, it's always nice to have different competition. It's good to have competition. It's good to have another franchise or another company take their chance on that genre of gaming and see what they can do. You learn from each other to be better, right? Except for NBA Live. NBA Live just like, yeah, we're just done. Anyways, but moving forward with it, we see that EA was so, I feel in my mind, in my opinion, that EA felt so threatened about it, they managed to get the license exclusive to the NFL, meaning that no one can make an NFL football game using the NFL except EA at the time. And, at the time, probably the public were like, cool, whatever. EA made the best football game, so what's the big deal? Well, it wasn't a big deal in the early 2000s, right? Until the last couple of years. And when I mean couple of years, I'm going to say probably about 2018 is where things were about to really change, where it felt like Madden didn't really have to try hard, or they don't really have to do much, because the fact that we're the only company that owns the NFL license, and we're the only ones that can do it. So no one can touch us. Now, even before that, remember that EA also did NCAA football, which that's a whole different story, that fiasco and whatever. But just the fact that Madden having the exclusive to that license is crazy that the NFL, I didn't even know you can do that. I didn't even know you could own a license to the NFL like that, but it's possible. And it's funny that, like, we're not seeing that for basketball, we're not seeing that for baseball, we're not seeing that for hockey, that people are just not grabbing that license or whatever. I don't know behind the scenes of that. But what I do know is that based on what people are saying, that ever since 2018, the games have not been at its best anymore, and it feels like the games are being more patchwork after the fact that the games come out. Especially the recent one and the last year one, where people say that's far worse than the 2023 edition, where a lot of this stuff is not getting patched, or it feels like it's lazy. They're using the same engine style, which that's a different conversation we will talk to as we go further into this. But the fact that it kept doing the same thing. You kept seeing the same sprites. You kept seeing the same characters being copied over, but doing the same thing. Someone pointed out that there was a crowd in the back having a sign that was from 2 years ago, a Madden yada yada of a different team, or the same cutscenes of somebody getting a touchdown in the crowd, and the coaches are doing the same thing over again, no matter what team you're on, or the way that the teammates are getting around each other, hyping each other up with the same animation as all across the board. So why did I bring this up? The reason I brought this up is the fact that I think it's time for NFL to really look at this and open this license, open up the NFL for more people to try out making a football game. Madden has kind of lost their ways, especially they're making promises of this is supposed to be the most polished game. This is supposed to be the most robust game. This is supposed to have all these features that they promised to come through, and it all has failed. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm a football expert. I don't really play football and sports games. I think, honestly, in my opinion, that buying them every year is becoming a bit of a ripoff. But I know what the crowd are saying, and I understand where they're coming from when you want a great football game, and maybe there could be somebody out there that can give you that thing you want, but you can't because they've leaving it to this exclusive to a company that has a deal for, I don't know, I think 2 more years before it's open again, before they get it renewed again. Because it's the same thing with the Star Wars. They had the exclusive Star Wars, and now that broke, everybody's making a Star Wars game. And it looks like it's for the better, because everybody can take their hands on it and try what they want to do. So all I'm asking is, we should release this license and let more people take a crack at this. I don't even know if 2K can do another great football game. I don't know. But I'd rather see what they can do, or what other companies out here that have been doing different things will do that.